कहते हैं। We welcome everyone to this program. We'll start with Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Bhakta Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshmana Bhakta Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, Krishna Balram ki jai, Gaur Nitai ki jai. We'll start, bro.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you each and everyone for joining this session. Today we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, text number 9, text number 12. Sorry, chapter number 9, text number 12 onwards we will discuss today. But before that, first we will chant the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं हरि ओं तत्सत्. So we will read today text number 12 onwards. We will try to discuss. So, Nati prasidati tato pachito pacharer aradita suraganer hridibadda kamai yat sarva bhuta dayaya sat alabhyayaiko nana janeshvavahita suhridantaratma. Translation. Rao Prabhu can read translation. Or I can read the translation, maybe you can read the purport. Translation. My Lord, you are not very much satisfied by the worship of the demigods, who arrange for your worship very pompously, with various paraphernalia, but who are full of material hankerings. You are situated in everyone's heart as a super soul, just to show your causeless mercy. And you are the eternal well-wisher, but you are unavailable for the non-devotee.
Hare Krishna. Purport. The demigods in the celestial heavenly planets, who are appointed administrators of the material affairs, are also devotees of the Lord. But at the same time, they have desires for material opulence and sense gratification. The Lord is so kind that He awards them all sorts of material happiness more than they can desire, but is not satisfied with them because they are not pure devotees. The Lord does not want any one of His innumerable sons, the living entities, to remain in the material world of threefold miseries, to perpetually suffer the material pangs of birth, death, old age, and disease. The demigods in the heavenly planets and many devotees on His planet also want to remain in the material world as devotees of the Lord and take advantage of material happiness. They do so at a risk of falling down to the lower status of existence, and this makes the Lord dissatisfied with them. Pure devotees are not desirous for any material enjoyment, nor are they averse to it. They completely dovetail their desires with the desires of the Lord and perform nothing on their personal account. Arjuna is a good example. On his own sentiment, due to family affection, Arjuna did not want to fight. But finally, after hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he agreed to fight in the interest of the Lord. Therefore, the Lord is very much satisfied with pure devotees because they do not act for sense gratification but only in terms of the Lord's desire. As Paramatma or Super Soul, is situated in everyone's heart, always giving everyone the chance of good counsel. Thus, everyone should take the opportunity and render transcendental loving service to Him wholly and solely. The non devotees, however, are neither like the demigods nor like the pure devotees, but are averse to the transcendental relationship with the Lord. They have revolted against the Lord and must perpetually undergo the reactions of their own activities. Bhagavad Gita 4.11 states, Ye yata mam prapadyante tams tataiva bhajamiham. Although the Lord is equally kind to every living being, the living beings for their own part are able to please the Lord to either a great or lesser extent. The demigods are called Sakama devotees or devotees with material desires in mind, while the pure devotees are called Nishkama devotees because they have no desires for their personal interest. The Sakama devotees are self-interested because they do not think of others and therefore they are not able to satisfy the Lord perfectly. Whereas the pure devotees take the missionary responsibility of turning non-devotees into devotees and they are therefore able to satisfy the Lord more than demigods. The Lord is unmindful of the non-devotees although he is sitting within everyone's heart as well-wisher and super soul. However, he also gives them the chance to receive his mercy through his pure devotees who are engaged in missionary activities. Sometimes the Lord himself descends for missionary activities, as he did in the form of Lord Chaitanya. But mostly he sends his bona fide representatives and thus he shows his causeless mercy towards the non-devotees. The Lord is so satisfied with his pure devotees that he wants to give them the credit for missionary success, although he could do the work personally. This is a sign of his satisfaction with his pure Nishkama devotees compared to the Sakama devotees. By such transcendental activities, the Lord simultaneously becomes free from the charge of partially and exhibits his pleasure with the devotees. Now a question arises. If the Lord is sitting in the hearts of non-devotees, why are they not moved to become devotees? It may be answered that the stubborn non-devotees are like the barren land or alkaline field, where no agricultural activities can be successful. As part and parcel of the Lord, every individual living entity has a minute quantity of independence, and by misuse of this minute independence, the non-devotees commit offense after offense to both the Lord and his pure devotees engaged in missionary work. As a result of such acts, they become as barren as an alkaline field, where there is no strength to produce. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for that wonderful reading. What a wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada. So we are continuing to discuss on this text 11 where Brahma's prayers. Brahma is praying to the Lord and he is the first creator and he is praying to the Lord saying that, that, O Lord, you are Shrutekshita. In text number 11, he mentions about this word, that's Shrutekshita. Shrutekshita means that your glories are to be seen through the ears. We should be actually seeing the Lord not through our eyes, but through our ears. And that's why Srila Prabhupada kept classes in his ISKCON schedule, that 8 a.m. in the morning we should have this Srimad Bhagavatam class. All auspiciousness is rained upon us. All auspiciousness is something that we get only by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So 8 a.m. Bhagavatam class and at 8 p.m. Bhagavad Gita class. Srila Prabhupada ensured our schedule is revolving around hearing Srimad Bhagavat always. And in text number 11, there is a mention about Raganuga Bhakti. That means that spontaneous love for Krishna. Who gets the spontaneous love for Krishna? Those who are pure devotees of the Lord. Those who are envious of the Lord and those who have enmity towards the Lord, or those who are stubborn and they don't want to surrender themselves unto the Lord, they don't get spontaneous love. For example, we see that in a country there are citizens who love the country and there are citizens who absolutely hate the country because of the taxes they pay or because of anything that happens to them, and they do not love the country at all. So every now and then they will be speaking ill about the country, or they will be speaking ill about their nation. But there are those, even small things happen good to them, they will be always loving the nation and they will be thinking to contribute. So similarly, we can see that even in citizens. So what to speak about devotion? So in text number 11, Brahma mentions very clearly about pure devotees and non-devotees. And he says, the Lord, you are very much reciprocating to your pure devotees, because as per Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 11th verse, ye tam mam prapadyante tam stateva bhajamyaham. You reciprocate with those how they act towards you. So many times this question is asked, that why so many people are being given paid darshan in Tirupati and many other places. This question is very commonly asked. Why they cannot stand in the line? VIP treatment, VVIP treatment is given to some people. Can money buy the lordships? Why can't they stand in the line and take darshan? So then there are some people who are advisors of standing in the line for 4 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 1 day, 2 days and taking darshan. And there are some people who pay money and take darshan. So there are many people who say that paying money and taking darshan, they won't get the proper darshan. And some people say that only by standing in the line and taking darshan, you get proper darshan. The answer is neither of these two are very, very much applicable. We should understand that if a person stands for, let's say, 3 days in the line, but when he comes before the Lord or in the entire line, while he was standing, suppose he was thinking about how India is playing in the T20 World Cup, he is not going to get any devotion when he comes in front of the Lord, even though he might be standing for 3 days. And just because somebody has paid 1 crore rupees and taken a VIP pass and comes before the Lord doesn't mean that he is going to get all the blessings. If he is thinking, oh, 1 crore, I should have paid only 50 lakhs to come before the Lord. If he is thinking money minded, there also he is not going to get devotion. So by cutting short the time, by standing in a line or by standing in a line for a long time, devotion is not guaranteed. How is devotion guaranteed? What is that person is going to think when he is in front of the Lord? A person standing for 3 days in the line might not think about the Lord, but a person who paid 500 rupees VIP ticket is always thinking about the Lord will give him blessings. But instead, the person who paid 500 rupees and he comes before the Lord and he is not at all thinking about the Lord, but the person who is standing for 3 days and he takes things, he will get. Ye eta mam prapadyante tam satev. Krishna is not wanting your time or Krishna is not wanting your money. What Krishna wants is your devotion. What is there in the heart? And hence, Krishna is only satisfied by that pure devotion, which is what he is mentioning in verse number 12. Krishna is not very much satisfied by the worship of the demigods. If somebody is coming and saying, oh demigods, I would like to worship you, and they keep many pompous paraphernalia to worship the demigods, Krishna is not very happy. Why? Because they want something or the other from the demigods. They have material hankerings. They want something or the other. And hence they are called as Sakama devotees. Prabhupada mentions here. Sakama means they keep their selfish motive in the center. They want to achieve that Palm Jumeirah flat. They want to ensure that they want to get the best of the properties, the car. They want material hankerings, so they go to different personalities and they ask. And hence this asking business becomes like a business kind of a devotion. The devotion is not centered around love. The devotion is centered around taking and giving. When I used to study in my college, I used to know many students who never used to study, but they will go one day before the exam and break 108 coconuts in Siddhivinayak temple. And I said, why 108? They said, no, Siddhivinayak will be very, very pleased, and Vinayaka will give me immense blessings and I will get 100 out of 100. I said, at least in mathematics, get your mathematics right. So if you want 100, you should break 100 coconuts. Why 108? And then they get confused. So many of these devotion, I'm not saying that breaking coconuts for Siddhivinayak is wrong, but for what purpose? Just for getting some marks, which anyway you will get, you put the hard work. Just for getting some material hankerings, many people approach the demigod. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to tell a very beautiful story. There was a man who was carrying a log of cut wood, tree branches, These logs of wood he used to carry on his head. And he was traveling through the forest. His neck was paining because the log of wood was very heavy. And he could not keep it down. So he was looking here, there, anywhere where at least he could keep it down, because once he keeps it down, there is nobody to help him back to get it back on his head when he is all right, when he is completely recuperated and rested. So he can't keep it down. He is carrying the log of wood on his head. And it's extremely painful and it's extremely difficult. At that time he says, Krishna, please help. And Krishna appears there. He says, you called for me. Yes. Now imagine you are carrying the log of wood and it is so heavy and Krishna is there. What will you ask Krishna? You can ask anything to Krishna. You can say, please end this lifetime of carrying log of wood. Please ensure that this is my last life right now. I want to come back to you, back home, back to Godhead. I want to serve you. Thank you for giving darshan. He could have asked so many things. You know what he asked? Please, can you please help me to take this log of wood and hold it for some time? I just want to rest and then you give it back to me. This is not the best prayer. This is how the prayers of the material demigods are. That we would like to shift the burden for some time on the demigod's head and then we want material hankerings. This is called as Sakama devotees. Krishna has nothing to do with such people. Krishna says, I am sitting in their heart as super soul and I guide them. You guide them? But why can't you guide them that they don't go to the demigod, they come to you? If you are sitting in the heart, you should give good counsel. He said, yes, I give good counsel. I give every now and then I give counsel. Even to the non-devotee I give the counsel. Don't drink. Don't gamble. Don't eat anything other than prasad. Don't do intoxication. No meat eating. No illicit sex. But they do all these things. Why? Because they are stubborn. They don't want to listen. No, but you are God, you should ensure that you are sitting in the heart and you should give counsel and you should make them act. Because this cannot happen because every living entity has a minute independence. Why give that minute independence? You take that minute independence. Just because you are giving that minute independence, they are not coming towards you. So Lord, don't give that minute independence. You take it over. No. Why? Because love cannot be forced. You can do everything in this world, but you cannot force love. You cannot go and tell your spouse or a wife or a husband or child, from tomorrow you better love me, okay? No. Even if that person showboats that how they love you, that is not helpful. Because love has to be voluntary, has to be independent, should not be based on any condition. Like a mother and a child. The mother naturally loves the child and the child naturally loves the mother. This is the bond. It's the closest that you see, not the perfect. So hence Krishna wants this natural love towards him and that is what he is looking for. So in this way, he always favors the pure devotees. When I say favors, he always remembers the pure devotees. And here example is given of pure devotees like Arjun. We might think that pure devotees might be sages, munis, but here Arjuna's example is given by Srila Prabhupada as a pure devotee. Why? Because he wanted to do activities in a very nishkam way. He didn't want to fight for him. He wanted to fight for Krishna as a service. So the pure devotees execute orders of the Lord as a service. And they just want to execute the Lord's service, and that is the nature of the pure devotee. Another great example we see is of Bharat. Bharata. Samsar Bharanat iti Bharataha. One who carries the burden of the entire world. Everybody thought that he is not a good person. He is the reason for Lord Ramchandra to go away. But still he kept his sense gratification aside and he went to Chitrakoot and got the Padukas, kept it on his head and came back. This is called as selfless behavior. And hence such pure devotees, when they are there, the Lord is always in their heart. And the Lord is always there to give such good counsel to such pure devotees. So Krishna is there in the heart of a non-devotee, and Krishna is also there in the heart of a pure devotee. But he is very much satisfied how the pure devotee thinks about him, executes services. But Prabhuji, how will this non-devotee become a devotee? By coming in contact with such pure devotees. So Krishna is more satisfied when he sees that his devotees execute missionary activities like preaching, goes out into the public and conducts such wonderful Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita classes where devotees would like to speak and inspire others and come to Krishna consciousness. Krishna is very happy. Why he should send such a person? Why can't he do it himself? No. He sees this as an act of love. And he is completely satisfied. Krishna could have changed Valmiki from Ratnakar, but he sent Narada. He sent the Saptarishis. He sent Brahma. And all of them instructed Valmiki, and he wrote Ramayana. Similarly, Vyasdev, he got inspiration from Narad Muni, his guru. And hence, he wrote the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, whole Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but a Vyas Puja offering towards Narad Muni. You see, Narad Muni will come in each and every single pastime, and he will be there. So it's like remembering the spiritual master in each and every activity. So Srila Prabhupada here mentions in the purport that such guru are very much important in spreading such missionary activities of providing this knowledge to the non-devotees. So the Lord is sitting in the heart. He is giving good counsel to the non-devotees. But if the non-devotee is very stubborn, he is like taking the remote and pressing the mute button. And even if the Lord speaks, he is not going to hear because now it is muted. What we should do, we should come in contact with pure devotees who will unmute and who will increase the volume. And when you increase the volume, then whatever the Lord is speaking from the heart, the non-devotee will start listening. This is called as making the field not barren, but making the field fertile enough for you to grow these instructions which is coming from the Paramatma. And like this, when we keep on following this Vaidhi Bhakti, chanting, association, Kirtan, Shravan, etc., then slowly we will move towards the Lord's causeless mercy. Because why? The Lord doesn't want to punish anybody. Here Brahma says, you are the eternal well-wisher. Because you are the eternal well-wisher, but you are unavailable to non-devotee, not because that he switches himself off. No, the non-devotee has closed the doors. This is very important. The Lord is available for all. The Lord is always standing and ready to give. But if we close our doors, we close our eyes, like the non-devotees do, then we might be bereft of that mercy. But what gets that mercy? That mercy we get is costless. There is no cost to it. Do we chant and we get the mercy? Answer is no. By our chanting we cannot get mercy. Prabhuji, then why are we chanting? We should understand that chanting might attract his mercy, but to give the mercy, he is not bound. So Ekadashi, by doing Ekadashi we get mercy? Not necessary. So should we do Ekadashi? Yes, we should. By doing Ekadashi, we attract the mercy, but not the cause of the mercy. The cause of the mercy is causeless. He is Swarat. He is independent. He can give mercy without any cause. Patra apatra na dekhi murti sthana na asthana. Gauranga Mahaprabhu did the same thing. He didn't see whether somebody is qualified or unqualified. He gave the mercy to all. So here Brahma is mentioning that how he is very much satisfied with the pure devotees of the Lord. So the learning from this shloka is that we should walk towards the pure devotees path, because that is where the Lord is satisfied. And how do we do that? By getting in contact with pure devotees of the Lord, like in the Bhagavatam class, like with spiritual masters, and taking the process formally and seriously, and attending the programs, listening from others. In this way, taking the Sangha, we should progress towards pure devotees. That is where Krishna is completely satisfied. If we have any affiliations towards demigods and their worship for our personal benefit, we should let it go. We should not be interested in that. So that is the main learning that we learn from this, that we should move from sakama, that means for ourselves, praying for ourselves, our material things. We should slowly move towards nishkama, that means we should think about Krishna's pleasure rather than our pleasure. We can move to the next shloka, verse number 13. Yeah. Pumsamato vivida karma bhir advaradar dharena chogra tapasa paricharya cha आराधनम भगवतस्तव सत्क्रियार्थो धर्मो अर्पितः कर्हिचित् म्रियते न यत्र. Translation. But the pious activities of the people, such as performance of Vedic rituals, charity, austere penances, and transcendental service, performed with a view to worship you and satisfy you by offering you the fruitive results, are also beneficial. Such acts of religion never go in vain. Yes, Prabhu.
Onto a
Right.
devotional service, connected in nine different spiritual activities: hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, praying, etc., does not always appeal to people with a pompous nature. They are more attracted by the Vedic superficial rituals and other costly performances of social religious shows. But the process, according to the Vedic injunctions, is that the fruits of all pious activity should be offered to the Supreme Lord, is to the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord demands that whatever one may do in one's daily activities, such as worship, sacrifice and offering, charity, all the results should be offered to him only. This offering of the results of pious acts unto the Supreme Lord is a sign of devotional service to the Lord and is of permanent value, whereas enjoying the same results for oneself is only temporary. Anything done on account of the Lord is a permanent asset and accumulates in the form of unseen piety for gradual promotion to the unalloyed devotional service to the Lord of the Lord. These undetected pious activities will one day result in full-fledged devotional service by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, any pious act done on account of Supreme Lord is also remembered here for those who are not pure devotees. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. So in this verse, Srila Prabhupada is continuing to write, and Brahmaji is talking about, I spoke about pure devotees, but what about non-devotees? Non-devotees, how will they come to Krishna consciousness? We said that by Guru, by pure devotees' mercy. How will they bring them? By engaging them in some pious activities. You go to non-devotees and tell them to do some charity. You tell them to do some penances. Very rarely they will do. But in some way or the other, if they get connected to such activities, they slowly get some sukruti. And this sukruti, which is the undetected piety that Srila Prabhupada mentions here, undetected pious activities will one day result in full-fledged devotional service. So this small accumulation, like it is going into a piggy bank of devotion, and one day that piggy bank will break and the devotion will start. So engaging in some pious activities which is done as a worship towards you. In Janmashtami you call them, they attend a program, they come and do some Kalash Abhishek, they take prasad involuntarily though they are not interested. They come to a program because they were socially invited and they just mention about Krishna's name. These are small activities which will one day lead to devotion. In fact, we have seen this time and time again. How many people come to Krishna consciousness? Anybody wonderful story that I used to remember, that very recently there was a video game which came, whose name was known as GTA, Grand Theft Auto. If anybody is playing video games, they know that this is a very popular game. And its 6th version came nowadays. And it's released by a company called as Rockstar Games. Not that I know much about it. I just heard from a devotee. So there was this German devotee, not a devotee, a German kid. And he used to play this game. And there was a one unique thing about this game, that they used to show a life of a criminal. In a game, you are a criminal, you have to loot, you have to steal, you have to kill people, as your mission to earn money. So in this game, it was set in a virtual world of Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, it is commonly seen that our Hare Krishnas, they walk on the streets and they do bhajans. And when they do bhajan, they say Gauranga. So what these Rockstar game people did, they put these Hare Krishnas also inside the game. So much so that they made a devious plot that if you are the character who is driving a vehicle, and if you drive your vehicle on top of these devotees and kill these devotees who are in the game, who are chanting Gauranga, then you get 500 points and you get $500. So much so that this German kid, he used to every time see these saffron robes people who are chanting and dancing in the virtual city, he will go and hit them with the car. And when you hit them, there will be a message which will pop up on the screen saying Gauranga. And he used to get so happy, He used to also shout Gauranga. Like that, he kept on playing it for hours and hours and hours and hours. And every time he wanted to collect these Gauranga points. One day when he was in the airport, he was traveling from Munich to Bayern. And he saw some devotees who were in saffron robes. Real Hare Krishna devotees. In the airport, I think they were welcoming Sachinandan Maharaj. So they were singing Gauranga, Gauranga. And he thought that these people also play the game. They also play this GTA. So he went and said, oh, you play the game? How many points have you got? And the devotees don't know anything about this game. They are singing Gauranga's name. He is thinking that they are also playing the game. They also play Gauranga. They also go on top of these saffron robes. They are wearing saffron robes. So maybe they are comic characters. They are playing as if they are characters from the game. They love the game so much. So he went and asked them, do you also, how many Gauranga points have you got? They didn't know what. They gave him a book. All Gauranga points are written in this book. They gave Bhagavad Gita. He went and thought this might be more about these Gauranga people and it will tell. And they also gave life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in this way, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, they gave him that book. And in this way, he said, everything about Gauranga is there. And then they went to the program. He went and read this whole book and he became a devotee. And he thought, what was I searching for? What did I get? Today he is a devotee. So such unpious activities which people are involved in, but slowly just saying a name once, Gauranga, by playing a video game. He said, I became a devotee by playing a video game where a person's interest was to show the devotees in a bad life and to kill them. And by killing devotees in a video game, and because of the name Gauranga came, because of that I became a devotee. Today he is chanting 16 rounds. This is how devotion works. It is not by costly performance of some Vedic rituals. It is just by the intent to satisfy the Lord. This is very much important. So if unknowingly so much devotion can come to us, just think about knowingly what can happen. So here Brahma is saying, just by engaging in some pious activities of charity, penances, transcendental service, with the intent to worship you, or even if not having the intent, just like how we saw this, still you are very, very merciful that you give the results. But the only thing is that the Lord is always a well-wisher. So he even ensures, he constantly sees that how the non-devotees can also come towards him. He doesn't keep them away. Anything that we do for the Lord, even in this lifetime, is a permanent asset. It is not lost. And this gets all accumulated. And one day the devotion comes. And this is what Brahma is saying here. Let's go ahead. Text 14. Shashvat Swarupa Mahashaiva Nipitta Bheda Mohaya Bhoda Dishanya Nama Parasmai Vishwo Bhava Sthiti Layeshu Nimitta Leela Rasayate Nama Idham Chakrameshwaraya. The very important word here is rasaya. Srila Prabhupada will explain. Rashaya te nama idam chakrameshwaraya. Very, very beautiful. Rasaya means for enjoyment. Srila Prabhupada translates it. Translation: let me offer my obeisances unto the supreme transcendence, who is eternally distinguished by his internal potency. His distinguishable impersonal feature is realized by intelligence for self-realization. I offer my obeisances unto him, who by his pastimes enjoys the creation, maintenance and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. Yes, Prabhu, purport.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Purport by Sri Prabhupada Ji, Jai Sri Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord is eternally distinguished from the living entities by his eternal potency, although he is also understood in his impersonal feature by self-realized intelligence. Devotees of the Lord, therefore, offer all respectful obeisances unto the impersonal feature of the Lord. The word Rasa is significant herein. The Ras dance is performed by Lord Krishna in the company of the cowherd damsels at Vrindavan, and the personality of Godhead, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, is also engaged in Ras enjoyment with his external potency, by which he creates, maintains, and dissolves the entire material manifestation. Indirectly, Lord Brahma offers his respectful obeisances unto Lord Shri Krishna, who is factually ever engaged in Ras enjoyment with the gopis, as confirmed in the Gopal Tapni Upanishad, in the following words: Parardhante so buddhyata gopavesho me purushah purustad avir babhuva. The distinction between the Lord and the living entity is definitely experienced when there is sufficient intelligence to understand his internal potency, as distinguished from the external potency by which he makes possible the material manifestation. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. So here Brahma is thinking now. Where is Brahma seated? Anybody? Where is Brahma seated?
Prabhu, on the lotus.
Lotus flower of the
Where is that lotus coming from?
from the navel
Prabhu
of
Vishnu.
From Padmanabha. That is the Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So who is the father of Lord Brahma?
He's
the
not.
Bodhakshay Vishnu.
Garbhodakshai Vishnu. The mother is a lotus. Lakshmi or lotus. So he, one who appeared on the lotus, he is now wanting to pray. And he wants to offer his obeisances. So now he has two personalities whom he can pray to. One, he looks down. Of course, the navel is very, very long and he doesn't find the source from where he came. He holds the lotus petals and looks below the lotus petal. It's like a high-rise building. He cannot see the ground. But he knows that he came from none other than Garbhodakshai Vishnu. How? Because when he wanted to meditate, Krishna played the flute and he got the two letters, Ta and Pa. That means he was told to do tapa. And while he did tapa, he understood everything and he became capable to create this entire universe, entire world. So he knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and he knows Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And now he has to pray. How does he know Krishna? We see in Brahma Samhita, he prays, Govindam Adi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami. He knows the Supreme Personality. But he says here, I would like to pay my obeisances to the Supreme Transcendence or Supreme Lord. But I would like to make a distinction here. He says, I would like to make a distinction. I know the Supreme Lord Krishna. I know his internal potency. Internal potency is that he loves to do pastimes as Krishna. And I know his external potency also. And what is his external potency? His external potency is that through Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he creates this universe. Mahavishnu, he creates this universe. So this material manifestation of this universe forms his external potency. This entire material manifestation is his external potency. But internal potency, he creates and manifests pastimes. So internally, so there is a person who has internal activities through which he gets rasa or enjoyment. And there are some external activities by which he gets rasa. For example, a person, when he comes home, he plays with his son, he plays with his spouse, he talks to his spouse, or he has loving exchanges with his relatives. These are all internal activities. And when he goes to office, he meets and he does his official activities. So that's external. So do you enjoy at work? Yes. But do you enjoy at home? You enjoy more. Work is very official, very systemic. So here Brahma is saying both are enjoyments. I know as Vishnu, he maintains, he creates. Everything comes from the Lord. And I am supposed to create now. I am also coming from the Lord. And in his material manifestation, which is very official and systemic, there is also enjoyment in that. But I know that the real rasa is what Krishna enjoys with the gopis as a rasa dance. Because Krishna is always ever engaged in the rasa enjoyment with the gopis. Gopal Tapani Upanishad mentions this, Srila Prabhupada says. And this rasa or this enjoyment, this mellow, is always enjoyed by Krishna in Vrindavan. He doesn't leave Vrindavan even for a second. He doesn't even keep one step outside. That consciousness is always there. So many people say this, Many people say this when they bring a Govardhan Shila, or when they bring some deity from Vrindavan, they say, yeah, we bought Govardhan from Vrindavan to our house. He might be feeling so far away from Vrindavan. This is actually a wrong understanding. By bringing Govardhan Shila by proper means, given by a Brajvasi or Guru, when we bring Govardhan Shila to our house, he is not moving away from Vrindavan. Where he is creating Vrindavan. So in fact, we are moving inside Vrindavan by bringing Govardhan, let's say, to our city. The consciousness is more important to move in rather than thinking that it is a place that we move out. This is very important to understand. Sometimes we believe, we took a Shila from Govardhan and we brought it to, say, New York. And now he's so far away from Vrindavan. No. New York now becomes Vrindavan because you have brought Govardhan. Govardhan doesn't go anywhere other than Vrindavan. So we are entering into the consciousness of Vrindavan. That is how we have to think. This is called a self-realized intelligence. And here, many people believe that we are taking the dham outside of the dham. No, that is not true. So Brahma here, he is talking about praying to that Supreme Lord who has his internal potency and enjoying. But between that, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Sabhyate. So the localized phenomenon is as Paramatma. Bhagavan as the personal form, as Bhagavan, he is present in his own world. But in between there is this impersonal Brahman. And he's saying, I pay obeisances to this impersonal Brahman as well. So he's saying, let me offer my obeisances to Supreme Transcendent who is eternally distinguished by his internal potency. Don't confuse. Brahma is saying, don't confuse that the Brahman is the Bhagavan. No. Bhagavan has an internal potency, rasa, which he enjoys with the gopis. Brahman, he is his impersonal form. I pay my obeisances unto you. And then also as localized phenomenon, he resides in each and every particle created in this material world. And when I look down, I look at Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. He is also enjoying by creating and maintaining and performing dissolution of this cosmic manifestation. So external is like the official activities. There is enjoyment there, but higher enjoyment is in the internal potency. But between both of that, you have the Brahman philosophy where he is impersonal. I pay obeisances unto you. So he says, I pay obeisances because I like to pay my respect, but I'm not interested in that much. I'm interested in the internal potency and that rasa. I'm engaged in the official activities. But I understand that is also rasa. But I would like to tell you that the internal rasa, the mellows with the gopis, the mellows and the activities that he is performing with his pure devotees are very wonderful. Why this shloka comes here is very important. First verse he spoke about you are very much close to your pure devotees. Second, and he said you are non-partial to non-devotees. Second verse talked about what Krishna doesn't like in non-devotees and how he would like to turn them. But then he says, I don't want to dwell a lot about non-devotees. I would like to immediately speak about the pure devotees, and in those pure devotees, I like to talk about the purest of the devotees, which is the gopis, and hence he uses the word rasa out here. Let's go ahead. The 15th verse. Go ahead to the verse number 15. Somebody can scroll down. Yes. Yasyavatara gunakarma vidambanani namani ye asuvigame vivashya grananti tenaika janma samalam sahashiva bhitva samyanti apavrittam mritam tamajam prapadye. Translation. Let me take shelter of the lotus feet of him whose incarnations, qualities and activities are mysterious imitations of worldly affairs. One who invokes his transcendental name even unconsciously at the time he quits this life is certainly washed immediately of the sins of many, many births and attains him without fail. Purport.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The activities of the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are a kind of imitation of the activities going on in the material world. He is just like an actor on a stage. An actor imitates the activities of a king on stage, although actually he is not the king. Similarly, when the Lord incarnates, he imitates parts with which he has nothing to do. In Bhagavad Gita 4.14, it is said that the Lord has nothing to do with the activities in which he is supposedly engaged. Namam karmani limpanti na me karma phale sapraha. The Lord is omnipotent. Simply by his will, he can perform anything and everything. When the Lord appeared as Lord Krishna, he played the part of the son of Yashoda and Nanda. And he lifted the Govardhan hills, although lifting a hill is not his concern. He can lift millions of Govardhan hills by his simple desire. He does not need to lift it with his hand. But he imitates the ordinary living entity by this lifting, and at the same time he exhibits his supernatural power. Thus his name is chanted as the lifted of the Govardhan hill, or Sri Govardhanadari. Therefore, his act in his incarnations and his partially to the devotees are all imitations only, just like the stage makeup of an expert dramatical player. His acts in that capacity, however, are all omnipotent, and the remembrance of such activities of the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is as powerful as the Lord himself. Ajmila, remember the holy name of the Lord Narayana by merely calling the name of his son Narayana, and that gave him a complete opportunity to achieve the highest perfection of life. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So this is one of my favorite verses in Srimad Bhagavatam. This particular verse, you can speak for hours and hours and hours. And one might feel that what's so special in this? Because here, so many hidden things Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport. It's one of my favorite verses, at least for the purport. The reason is, here, the Lord is compared to as an actor. Just like he imitates on a world stage. He's just like an actor on a stage. He might act like a king on a stage, but he's not the king. So he might act like a human being, but he is not. In fact, last week I was reading a very beautiful text or a scripture in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. There is a book called as Ati Manusha Stavam. It is written by Vedanta Deshika. A very beautiful work. This Ati Manusha Stavam talks about all those incidences where Vedanta Deshika does a screenshot of the Lord's activity and pastime and says, look, here it shows that you are not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here it shows that you are not the character who you are playing, but you are Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, it's called bloopers. Like sometimes you play a movie, the actor is supposed to play a movie. Like for example, let's say it's a periodic movie, an ancient historical movie of say Roman Empire, and somebody is playing a Roman Empire character. But in the movie, suppose he is wearing a watch. It is a blooper because back in 320 BC, watches were not invented. Casio and a Rolex watch was not invented. But the actor forgot that he is playing, but he wears a watch and that is caught on the camera. Then the eagle eye participants or the audience finds and takes a screenshot and says, look, here it shows that you are not an actor. Here you are not the Roman Julius Caesar. You are actually an actor of the 21st century. Similarly, our acharyas did this with Lord's pastimes. Now, this is even more interesting. How? That the Lord is so perfect, he will not commit any mistakes. But our acharyas are even more perfect. Our gurus and sages are so perfect. The kavis are so perfect that they even found out faults and they said, here you broke your character. Two examples that brings to my mind. That one, he says, is for Lord Ramchandra. Lord Ramchandra always, he used to say, I am not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dasharathasya iti putraha iti Ramaha. He used to say, I am the son of Dasharatha. Atmanam manushyam manye Dasharatham Atmajam. He says, I am just a human being. That is his humility. He just wants to cover up that he is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when he met Jatayu, and when Jatayu was about to leave his life, he took Jatayu on his lap. And when he saw that Jatayu had dedicated his life to protect Mother Sita, and his wings were cut and he was dying, and at the last breath he wanted to see Ram. Ram said, I will cremate you. And while cremation, Ram put the funeral pyre. Anybody puts the funeral pyre with name of Lord Ram, he goes to Lord Ram. But here Lord Ramchandra is putting the funeral pyre to none other than Jatayu, who is like a fatherly figure. And he used to always revere Jatayu as his father's best friend. So he had such a big respect quotient towards Jatayu. And our Vedanta Deshika, he is actually looking very keenly in Valmiki's Ramayana. He is waiting. And at that time, Rama just stutters small little words. He says, Gacha moksham Jatayu. And our Acharya catches that. He said, now I would like to catch this. Records it, puts it in his text called Ati Manusha Stavam. And he says, look, I have found fault in your play. Rama says, what fault have you found? Said, if you are playing the role of a human, you cannot say Gacha Moksham Jatayu. That Jatayu, please go back home, back to Godhead. Who are us to give permissions to people to go back home, back to Godhead? Suppose you are walking on the street and a rat comes under the wheel of a car and the rat dies. Can you say, rat, go back home, back to Godhead? We ourselves cannot book a ticket back home, back to Godhead. How can we command another soul to go back home, back to Godhead? But such is not the case with Lord Ramchandra, because he is the Supreme Lord. He at that time breaks his character and says, Gacha Moksham Jatayu. Oh Jatayu, go back home, back to Godhead for the service that you have performed. At this point, you are not playing the character of Dasharathasya Putraha Itri Ramaha. You are playing the character of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My obeisances unto you. These are the spots that we can actually worship, and we can think about the Lord's pastimes and activities. Right? When he lifts the Govardhan hill. And in fact, in some depictions, it is shown that the Govardhan hill is lifted topsy-turvy. Most of the time we see that the base of the Govardhan hill is here, and at the tip of the nail of the little finger of the left hand, he has lifted Govardhan hill. But many times the artists show that the conical part of the mountain, which is the peak of the mountain, is residing on the tip of the nail of the left finger of the left hand of Krishna for 7 days and 7 nights. It is even more difficult, we might feel. To balance at the tip of the peak of the mountain on the tip of the nail of your left finger's left hand, on the left hand and left finger, is more difficult. But why did he not put the base on his tip of the nail? Because if he puts the base on the tip of the nail, all the grass will be facing skywards. All the cows were licking his feet and they were hungry for 7 days, 7 nights. Where will they eat food? So he tilted the mountain. He kept it on the peak. The peak of the mountain was on his tip of his nail, so that the grass will hang from upside, from top to down, and the cows can just stretch themselves and eat the grass of Govardhan. They never wanted to leave the grass of Govardhan. And our acharyas take a photo of that and says, this shows that you are Ati Manusha. You are not playing a part of a coward boy. You are Govardhan Giri. You lifted the whole mountain. This is suprahuman task. And the Lord also says that suprahuman task, you expanded yourself as various different gopas and gave the pleasure to all the gopvasis of Braja. This is also suprahuman. But the most suprahuman task is not lifting Govardhan, is not killing Bakasura, is not killing Agasura, is to run from that small whipping stick of Yashoda where you stole butter and you land as Damodar. This is what baffles us, because you are as Damodar. And every part of this Damodar pastime of his is baffling, because he, at the same time, he exhibits his supernatural power. At the same time, in Vrindavan, he loses his supernatural power. A very beautiful writer, Hari Sauri, writes in the Damodar pastime that when mother caught Damodar after running behind him, Damodar did not even look back at mother. He was crying and crying and crying and crying. He was so much crying that mother got very worried and she threw the stick away. At that time he saw mother. At that time 2 screenshots were taken by our acharyas. They say 2 things we get to learn by this pastime. I said, what is that? Our Lord is Ugram Viram Mahavishnum Jalantam Sarvator Mukham. He is Narsingha, Ugram, he is very ferocious. Viram, he is very courageful. He has a lot of courage. Viram Mahavishnum, he is a great Mahavishnu who came as Narsinghadev. Jwalantam, he is fearful. Sarvator Mukham, he has phases everywhere. He said, compare that to our little Damodar now. Ugram, is he very ferocious? No, he is crying. His Gwahalbal is crying. Viram, courage. If he had so much of courage, why would he run? He would stand there. He was a coward. He ran from Mother Yashoda. So he is na Ugram, na Viram. Jwalantam, is he ferocious? No, he is crying. He is fearful. Sarvator Mukham, does he have faces everywhere? No, he is not seeing even Mother Yashoda because she is having a stick. So he is na Ugram, na Viram, na Jwalantam Sarvator Mukham. That is our little Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna. But why did he see Mother only when she threw away the stick? Or he will not get punished? No. As long as the stick is in the hand, that means you are holding on to matter. Wood, matter. Of course, everything in Vrindavan is conscious. But here the Kavi wants to use it as a dead matter. So as long as you are holding on to matter, Krishna will not see you. The minute she threw away the stick, now she is in the right consciousness. Krishna is giving his glance to Mother Yashoda. Every part of Damodar Leela is wonderful. Every part can give us so much of learning. So that's why here he said that, here it is mentioned, sometimes thus his name, even once a person who chants his name, his qualities, his name has his qualities, his activities, everything. When we say Damodar, we remember the entire pastime. The name itself has the pastime, his qualities. And when a person knowingly or unknowingly, just like Ajamila, just merely calls out the name, It gives a complete opportunity for us to go back home, back to Godhead. And in fact, the sins are immediately washed many, many births. How do we understand this? A very beautiful example is given by two acharyas, and I would like to state that and close the lecture today. How do we understand this? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives this example. Just like a rope, if you put a rope on fire, how many of people have seen a rope on fire? After, suppose you have a 2-meter long rope and you put it on fire, and the fire slowly goes across the rope and it consumes the entire rope. After the fire has consumed the entire rope, what will you see? Can somebody tell me? What will you see?
Ashes,
The rope will be as it is, but
Yeah.
in the same shape it will remain there.
It will, in the same shape, it will remain there. It will not lose its shape, right? But when you touch it, what will happen, Mataji?
It will all break.
It will all break and collapse, correct? So this is how he speaks about our sins when we take the holy name. When we take the holy name, all our sins are there, but it will be burnt. Prabhuji, then why am I facing so many difficulties? I am saying Krishna, Krishna for so many years. Yeah, but when you go and touch it in this lifetime, we are just facing that ash of that rope. And at death, what happens? Even that collapses. There is nothing there. But that form is still there in this lifetime. Another example that we can give is like Gabbar Singh. This Gabbar Singh has many bullets on his waist. His shotgun bullets are on his waist. And he has loaded 2 bullets on his gun. And he shot this bullet towards you. And this dacoit has shot this bullet, and this bullet is coming through the air. When you say Krishna, what happens? Immediately all the bullets which are there on his waist burns. There are no more bullets that he can use. The 2 bullets that he loaded inside the gun, the 1 bullet which is still inside the gun, also evaporates. So there is no more bullets that he can use because you said Krishna. But 1 bullet is coming. Prabhu, he has already shot it. Why it is not evaporating? Why it is not getting burnt out? It is coming towards me. It is going to hit me. It is going to give me trouble. Don't worry, it will just scrape and go. Prabhuji, why that scraping also? When I said Krishna, that bullet also should go, no? No, if that bullet also goes, what happens is that you will never remember Krishna. So, this bullet is a karma phala. And what is the belt that this dacoit is wearing is your sanchita karma, which is actually accumulation of all the bad activities that we have accumulated is the belt of that dacoit. When we say Krishna, all our accumulation from past, previous lives, that karma goes away. Hare Krishna, it gone, burnt out. And some 2 bullets we have loaded for this life, which is prarabdha. We have taken and come. We have taken a loan from that entire bank balance deposit. We have taken a loan and come in this life. When we say Hare Krishna, prarabdha is also lost. The future capability to commit sins are also lost. But that one karma that we are facing now is just to keep us in the track of Krishna consciousness. So we should accept our karma. We should be tolerant. And we should think this is Krishna's mercy. We should not go on crying, oh Krishna, you are given so bad, this, that. No. Thank you so much, Krishna. And what Kunti is saying is, you give me that prarabdha also, sanchita also, everything, because I'll constantly remember you. This is great understanding. So Krishna is just playing, and he might exhibit his supernatural power. And hence we should understand that Krishna's invisible hands are always with us. And just by chanting once, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just by chanting once, even consciously, unconsciously, it has its own merit. And while quitting the life, when somebody chants Krishna, one gets the same kind of mercy of going back home, back to Godhead. So these are very beautiful prayers of Lord Brahma. So we learned today 12, 13, 14, 15. And we'll stop here. 16 onwards, we'll continue next week. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvam satpurayantu tat. Yadatra saustabam kinchit tad guru revamevinihi. Yadatra skalitam kinchit. If you found any mistakes, those mistakes are truly mine. You are all vidwans. Please correct them. And if you found something nice in this class, all glories goes to Srila Prabhupada's purports, acharyas, and everyone who have contributed. None of these glories are due to me or my capability. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If you have comments, questions, clarifications, or feedbacks, critiques, or even realizations, please do share. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you very, very much. Devotees, this is a good opportunity. You can ask any question that you have. Prabhu can answer it.
Prabhu, one small question.
Yeah.
Brahma is praying because when there is no creation,
Yeah.
he's finding everywhere there is, nobody is there. Then how he knows about non-devotees, and so many verses earlier have also gone where he is talking about the material life and all these things. So how those things can be interpreted like that?
Yeah, very good question. So, Brahma here is definitely praying to the Lord. He is not, for example, let's say when we come into this world, does not mean that we do not know about activities that has not happened prior to our birth. There are always material to refer to. There are always activities to refer to. There are always books to refer to. But here we are talking about Brahma, who is going to create all of these things. So where is the reference? Reference is Krishna. So when Krishna played his flute and he gave this instruction, ta, pa, and he said meditate, and by meditating upon the Lord, he is getting to know all of these things. Another example that we can learn, it's a very actually good question. Valmiki asks the same questions to Narada. He says, कौन अस्मिन् सांप्रतं लोके गुणवान् कश्च वीर्यवान् धर्मज्ञश्च कृतज्ञश्च सत्यवाक्यो दृढव्रताः चारित्रेण चको युक्तः. So he asks, who is this personality who has all these 16 different qualities? This is one of the shlokas of Ramayana in Balkand. So he says, please tell me, who is that contemporary person and how will I get to know about him? Valmiki is told by Narada that you write about Rama. He is person contemporary who is living along with you. He is 40-45 years old now. You are older, but he is living with you. You write charitra about him. He says, but I don't know. I don't know about his past, his present, his activities. So he says, don't worry. When you just see your palm, you will have the mercy of understanding the past, present, and the future. You will also understand what that person is thinking, what was his emotion, what was his intent. Everything will be revealed to you by the mercy of Guru. So sometimes we need not go through an activity to realize an activity. It can be revealed to us. So in this case, Brahma's knowledge is through revelation, not by realization. Post revelation, he has also realized the truth. So this is revelation. Revelation is by Krishna. So Krishna is existing and he revealed this to Brahma. Does that make sense? So he knows everything, past, present, future. He knows, he has all the ingredients. He knows about the non-devotees activities, devotees activities, how they are favorable, not favorable. Everything is known to Brahma at that time. Make sense?
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Back to you, Subal Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I was actually hoping that we will have more questions because getting you to come over itself is a kind of a rare opportunity. And asking you various questions and getting those perfect answers, then it makes more sense actually. Prabhu, I have one question.
Sure.
Okay,
I'll try.
Prabhu, this is with respect to Lord Brahma. So it is said that Lord Brahma at the end of his life, then because of that service and devotion towards Krishna, he goes back. He goes back to Krishna. But then I also heard that when a Jiva came down for the first time, he was Brahma. and because of certain incorrect activities performed and desires being wrong, and we have fallen to this particular level. How do we reconcile these two aspects, Prabhu?
So, a good reformed person in the jail will be relieved. A person who has committed further mistakes in the jail will be held back. So when Krishna says, "A Brahma Bhona Loka Punaravartino Arjuna," this mentions saying that those who have not committed the right kind of attitude and have committed sins might come back. So this is not a blanket statement for all Brahmas. Some who execute the performance to the T will have the capability to go back home, back to Godhead. And some who have performed with an egoistic nature or have still some purification to happen will come back. But this coming back, going in the first go, is not the one that we should focus. As devotees in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, we are going back home, back to Godhead. That is certain. This lifetime, million lifetimes, it's okay. We are going back home, back to Godhead. That is certain. What we should be looking forward is that where do we get the service? What is the service we have? How will we serve the Lord? If we have to go fall down and still execute this service, Jai, it is much better than Tapaloka, Satyaloka. But if we get this chance going back home, back to Godhead and serving Him there through His many millions of devotees and being a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis, yes. If we have to go to the nether worlds and serve our Guru to bring more souls to Krishna, yes. That is more important for us, how we serve Srimati Radharani, and instead of when we go. But yes, this is the answer, that there were certain souls who would go back, and that is Krishna's wish, how it will happen.
Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhu. Prabhu,
Thank
if you may allow just one more question. Prabhu, it
Sure,
is
bro.
said about that the Kali Yuga currently, that it's a golden period, right? And after that, the real bad situation of Kali Yuga will happen and all that. Can you throw a little more light on it? Meaning, I've heard that, the meaning when Gaurang Mahaprabhu returned back to his planet, then this golden period of Kali Yuga has started, Prabhu. If you can throw a light by which we can understand exactly the sequence of events and how it unfolds over the next 9,500 years. And as devotees, how do we make the best use of the golden period? That will be helpful. If time permits, if you think it is long enough, maybe we can take it some other time.
Now we can answer that. It's a good question. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu, when he went back home, when he closed his leelas here, the golden period starts. The golden period in terms of during the 500 years of Sri Mahaprabhu's, he opened the floodgates. And those floods, so we know that when you open the floodgates of a dam, the entire city is inundated. And for some time, you cannot repopulate that place because those flood waters have to recede. So similarly, when he has opened the floodgates of Prema Dhana, Golokera Prema Dhana Harinama Sankirtana, this has flooded and inundated the whole world, and its after effects will be seen for next 10,000 years. And these 10,000 years, what happens after the flood waters recede is it becomes the most fertile land. So even if we consider Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance as the first act of receding waters, still it will take the post effect of what he has done. It will take some time for these waters to recede, that this Prema Dhana to completely get removed from this planet Earth, and Kali Yuga to progress. So the devotees of the Lord like Haridas Thakur, Nityanand Mahaprabhu and many others will use trenches to draw these waters to each and everybody's house, because the flood is flowing somewhere else, my house is somewhere else, but these waters have to come to my house. So Nityanand Prabhu and all the gurus and the acharyas, they are drawing these trenches so that this 10,000 years get washed in this Prema Dhana. So this effect will be there for the next 10,000 years through the Sampradaya, through the law books of Srila Prabhupada, through the purports by the preaching activities of the devotees, and many who will come in this lifetime. Like for us also, if we don't go back home, back to Godhead, it's okay. Good opportunity. Within this 10,000 years, let's come back and take the benefit even more. It will be there. But in between, if we go for 10,000 years to stay in the heaven and then come back in the 12,000th year, it becomes difficult. So hence Srila Prabhupada says we should take the opportunity now. You are in the 10,000 years. Take the opportunity now to go back home, back to Godhead, to render service unto Krishna. So the urgency of us to take up to this process and go back home, back to Godhead should be now, because we are in the golden age. How it will be carried out? By the mercy of Nitai and many others and the Acharyas who are coming in the disciplic succession to navigate this Prema Dhana into each and every household. How this will continue? By being in the parampara, by being in the association of devotees. What should we do? We should take up this process and we should have a goal in our life. Many of the devotees have a goal in their life. You ask them, what will you do? They'll say, I want to go back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. Great goal, not wrong. But I've seen the best of the devotees have the greatest of the goals. After this life, where do I want to preach? What services I want to do? What are the things? They already have, post this life, they have a plan. And plan for this life, plan for next year, plan for next 50 years, plan how they will die, plan post death. If they have to come back, what should be the services they should do? Start thinking. If you have a strong desire of service and service and service only, that is when during death we can remember Krishna. If we have a strong desire, we should remember Krishna, we should remember Krishna, we should remember Krishna, there are full chances we'll forget Krishna. Service will keep Krishna in remembrance. So one should think for the next 10,000 years, how as a soul I can serve Guru and Parampara. That will make us Krishna consciousness at the time of death. And if it doesn't, it gives us service back again. So it's always a win-win scenario. So this is how we should live the 10,000 years and beyond. So does that answer the question, Prabhu?
Fantastic, Prabhu. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Jai.
Jai.
Prabhu, we request you again to please keep regularly coming. We would love to hear you.
Sure, Prabhu. Definitely. Thank you for this opportunity.
Let us chant Vaishnav Pranam Mantra before we depart. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta
Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavats. Thank you. Dandavats. Hare Krishna.